This video is brought to you by Mubi, a curated online cinema streaming exceptional films from around the globe. Get 1 month free at mubi.com/beyondtheframe. Electrocuted elephants, tripped horses, tortured scorpions, decapitated chicken, and sacrificed oxen. For decades, this was the buffet of carnage in store for any aspiring animal actor. Then one day, enters the picture the American Humane. All was well, for a while. American Humane was put out of commission, and the animals suffered again. And because things have to get worse before they can get better, the atrocities on the set of Heaven's Gate were paramount for change to take place for good. That's where we left off last time. If you want to brush up on the first episode, feel free to pause this at any moment and watch part 1. We'll be here when you get back.
Birds do it, bees do it.
Let me introduce you to the first hero of this story, Carmelita Pope.
I'm Carmelita Pope. Have you tried Pam yet? It's the pure vegetable coating you spray on pots and pans before cooking. I spray Pam for everything.
After a brief stint as an actor, Pope turned her sights towards the protection of animals. She was serving as the director of the Hollywood office of the American Humane in 1981, when anonymous calls started coming in detailing the animal cruelty that happened on the set of Heaven's Gate.
Thought I left, didn't you?
After those calls, Pope looked for proof of the allegations. In the meantime, 4 other things happened that combined would forever change the fate of animals in film. First, the Screen Actors Guild, a labor unit that defended the rights of performers, was deep in negotiations of a new contract with the studios. Second, a lawsuit was filed for, quote, the severe physical and behavioral trauma and disfigurement suffered by one of the horses on the set of Heaven's Gate.
Very well, if you put it that way.
Third, when the film premiered, there was mass picketing organized by animal rights activists. And finally, Carmelita Pope got her confirmation. We obtained proof that 5 horses have died, 1 blown up with explosives. The mistreatment and the outcry against them led to the inclusion of a clause in the new contract with the studios that gave American Humane the sole power to decide if no animals were harmed. So how does this work exactly? In an interview with Alicia Malone for Filmstruck, rest in peace, Chad Burns details the process.
We have a collective bargaining agreement with SAG-AFTRA. What that means, if production is SAG-AFTRA, they have to register, and they have animals, they have to register with us. They have to let us know they're using animals. They will send us a script, they will send us schedules. We read those scripts, we see what kind of animals are going to be in these films, what it requires. We just start advising them way before one reel of film is shot. And so we're all prepared before we get there. And then we do send what we call a certified animal safety rep.
Once that representative gets on set, he'll do his best to enforce a guideline that's 100 pages long. That's true for a movie where 2 dogs make a brief cameo like Phantom Thread, and even more so when the movie stars 250 Dalmatians and cows, horses, goats, pigs, squirrels, raccoons, skunks, and woodpeckers. In either case, there should be someone trained on set, who is also in charge of filing a detailed report of the actions that end up on screen, as well as how the trainers achieve them. American Humane will look at all that information and give the movie 1 of 6 possible ratings.
I'm sure giraffes on the slide.
If everyone goes out of their way to think of the animals first and follow the guidelines for the safe use of animals in film media, and nothing unpredictable happens, a film should earn the best possible rating.
There you go.
This is kind of a long story, but you know, I smoked through the whole movie.
This is Alison Janney describing what it means to go the extra mile for animals on the set of I, Tonya.
Yes.
And the bird handler says right before we shoot the scene, you can't smoke around the bird. And Craig Gillespie, our director, said, well, she she has to smoke. She's been smoking
It's
every
such a
scene.
part of
It's
your
part of my
character.
character.
Yeah.
And I said, wait. I looked to the prop department. And I said, do you guys have those breathing tubes and an oxygen tank? And the guys, they were like, yes, we do. And it was kind of a miracle that they did, because it wasn't called for in this movie anywhere.
Oh, you added that?
Yeah, I added it.
Not quite as perfect, but still good enough, is the second positive rating. It usually means that most precautions were taken, but not all of the scenes were monitored. After American Humane cross-checks what they saw on the set and what ends up in the movie, they determined that yes, filmmakers have done enough to earn their approval. When productions fail to get either of these two disclaimers, things start to get hairy.
Huh? I'm sure giraffes on the slide.
American Humane trademarked this official disclaimer so that film productions can't just lie and say that no animals were harmed when they might have been. The disclaimer is essential for animal lovers who see animal action or even animal violence on screen. It's the closest thing to proof that no harm came to the animals. Because it has become so relevant, film productions are rightfully afraid that if it's missing from the credits, animal activists will be at their heels.
Activist. Yes. Activist.
However, it is an endeavor to get American Humane on board, so a few film productions have used the disclaimer without permission. Movies that aren't SAG productions aren't required to have American Humane representatives on set. That was the case of The King's Speech. The filmmakers didn't go out of their way to get American Humane's disclaimer, yet during its Oscar push, they used the phrasing anyway.
I'm sure giraffes on the slide.
This rating is not necessarily bad, just uncertain. American Humane was unable to be on the set of Superbad due to, quote, limited resources and/or scheduling conflicts. This is actually a big problem in animal monitoring, because surprisingly, only 50% of animal action shot in the United States is overseen. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the gap is due to a variety of factors, from non-union productions that opt out to late notifications, distant locations, changing shooting schedules, inexperienced crew members who either don't know or in certain cases don't want to ask for monitoring in the first place. In addition, because of the increase in movie and television production, the American Humane sometimes doesn't have enough safety representatives to handle requested coverage, resulting in brief visits by monitors or even none at all. We'll discuss that in part 3, but for now, let's look at the two last ratings.
I'm sure giraffes on the slide.
These are given to films where either unpreventable accidents happened or where there was blatant disregard for animals.
Something wrong, Mr. Ventura? Of course not.
Much like humans, animals can act in unpredictable ways. There's an argument they shouldn't be used in films in the first place, but we'll save that discussion for later. According to the American Humane, the unpredictable and unavoidable happened in Flicka. Despite full compliance with the demanding guidelines of American Humane, 2 horses died. So the usual disclaimer was replaced by the much less reassuring, yet perhaps still misleading, American Humane monitored the animal action. And now the worst rating. Animals were harmed, if not on purpose, at least as the result of neglect. These are the movies that American Humane deemed not worthy of their approval at all.
Save us.
Given their very strict guidelines, the movies in this category run the gamut between an animal not being properly surveilled to multiple animal deaths. Here are just a few examples. A pufferfish was killed. Several fish died because of negligence. A dog was kicked, a camel was struck, and 3 horses were tripped. A kitten was too young to be filmed. Allegedly, dozens of cats and dogs died in the making of Milo and Otis. A rat was submerged underwater. Wait, what? Cats and dogs died and then American Humane? That doesn't make... Before I tell you what's in store for episode 3, let me say a few words about Mubi. I've been working with Mubi for about a year and a half, writing and making video essays for their online publication called Notebook. There you can find reviews, interviews, essays, and some of my videos. In addition to all this content, Mubi is a streaming service unlike any other. It's a curated online cinema showing exceptional movies from around the globe. They always have 30 movies you can watch. Every day, they present a new film, and every day, they take one away. They've just launched a new retrospective devoted to F.J. Osang. This footage is from Nine Fingers, his new film that won him the Best Director award at Locarno. You can try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/beyondtheframe.
Now the journey's over and we're heading back home.
So far we've looked at all the good things that came about since American Humane and no animals were harmed came into the picture. In episode 3, we'll be looking at the missteps of the organization over the years. First, I'll summarize what went wrong in the case of Milo and Otis, then we'll have a look-see at other reports of animal violence on film sets that were sanctioned by American Humane. And finally, I'll try to answer the question, should we trust the no animals were harmed disclaimer?